What if clogged arteries don't develop in a few months, but quietly build up over decades before the first symptom ever appears? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the classic medical text, Robbins and Cotran Pathologic Basis of Disease by Vinay Kumar, Abul K. Abbas, and John C. Astor.
Yeah, and it's such an important book because today we're exploring the 5 hidden stages of plaque formation. And we'll also cover 3 practical habits to help protect your arteries for decades to come, especially after the age of 40.
Right, because after 40, you really start thinking about this stuff. So let's jump right into stage 1, which is endothelial injury. It's not just fat magically sticking to a wall, right? It actually starts with damage.
Exactly. The vessel's inner lining, the endothelium, gets physically or chemically injured. So if you have, say, high blood pressure or toxins from cigarette smoke or high cholesterol, that actually damages that really delicate layer of cells.
I always like to think of the endothelium like the protective Teflon coating on a nonstick pan. When it's pristine, things just glide right by.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
But high blood pressure, that's like taking a metal fork to that Teflon. It gets all scratched up and the vessel wall becomes, well, sticky and compromised.
Right. And once that barrier is compromised, we hit stage 2, foam cell formation. Because the wall is damaged, toxic oxidized LDL cholesterol basically slips right through and gets trapped inside the vessel wall itself.
Oh, wow. So it literally gets stuck inside the lining.
Exactly. And your body senses this as an injury, right? So it deploys immune cells, specifically macrophages, to basically go in and clean up the mess.
Okay, so the immune system is trying to help out. That sounds like a good thing.
Well, it tries, but it backfires.
Yeah.
These macrophages gorge themselves on the toxic cholesterol until they become completely bloated. Pathologists actually call them foam cells. They get stuck in the wall, creating a fatty streak.
Wait, foam cells? But how does a microscopic cellular cleanup crew turning into bloated cells actually become a physical blockage? A streak doesn't sound like a massive block.
Yeah, that leads us to stage 3, plaque formation. Because your body is desperate to heal this toxic spill, so it triggers a physical, structural response. Smooth muscle cells migrate from deeper inside the artery up to the surface.
To do what, exactly?
To create a fibrous cap over that fatty mess. They're basically building a scab inside your artery to seal off all the inflammation.
Literally an internal scab. That is wild.
It is, but that's only part of the story, because we move into stage 4, plaque progression. And that scab doesn't just sit there peacefully. Over decades, there is this vicious cycle of chronic inflammation happening underneath it.
So it just keeps getting worse over time.
Right. Cells inside that fatty core die off, which releases more lipid debris. So the mass grows, it begins to calcify, and it slowly, quietly narrows the artery.
Just quietly narrowing the pipe over years. That's scary.
Yeah, and here is where things become really interesting, or really dangerous, I should say. Stage 5 is plaque rupture. The narrowing isn't even the biggest problem.
Really? I thought the blockage was the whole issue.
Most people never realize this, but it's the stability of the scab that really matters. All of that underlying chronic inflammation weakens the fibrous cap, creating what's called a vulnerable plaque.
Oh, I see. So if it's vulnerable, it can break.
Exactly. If that incredibly thin cap tears, maybe from a sudden spike in blood pressure, all that highly thrombogenic debris inside mixes directly with your blood, and that triggers an instant, severe blood clot.
So a slow traffic jam suddenly becomes a catastrophic roadblock.
You hit the nail on the head. That's the rupture.
Okay, so now that we're sufficiently freaked out about these 5 stages, what can you do starting today? We need some practical actions to intervene here.
Well, action 1 is lowering your LDL cholesterol. That is paramount because you're quite literally removing the primary fuel that creates those bloated foam cells. Without the toxic lipid, the immune system doesn't have to overreact.
Makes total sense. Cut off the fuel. And action 2.
Manage your blood pressure. That reduces the physical turbulence, the metal fork that scratches your endothelium in the first place.
Right. Got to protect the Teflon pan.
Exactly. And action 3 is stop smoking and reduce inflammation. This stops the toxic chemical damage, and it actually helps stabilize the fibrous caps on existing plaques so they don't tear.
So to recap, we've got the 5 stages: endothelial injury, foam cell formation, plaque formation, progression, and rupture. And our 3 actions are lowering LDL, managing blood pressure, and reducing inflammation.
That's the perfect summary. Though, we should remind everyone that this deep dive is strictly for educational purposes and does not replace professional medical advice.
Absolutely. So which of these hidden processes surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy learning from the world's best health books, subscribe to Mosaic Health 40 Plus Scour.
But before you go, think about this. We've talked about plaque building up as this seemingly inevitable one-way street. But cutting-edge research is now looking heavily into plaque regression. If we lower lipid levels aggressively enough, can we actually coax those bloated foam cells into abandoning the artery wall, shrinking the plaque from the inside out? It's a fascinating frontier to explore on your own.
This episode was inspired by Robbins and Cotran's Pathologic Basis of Disease by Vinay Kumar, Abulke Abbas, and John C. Astor, and enriched with insights from educational lectures and public discussions included in our research sources. Because better health starts with better knowledge. Books, science, better health. See you in the next Mosaic Health 40 Plus episode.